I never understood that every single album that I dropped, Jay dropped right on time. And it was like, damn, like to have in-house competition at that magnitude is crazy. Jay already the boss, but I always thought that like, let me breathe.
I felt that JayZ, Beanie Sigel was the shit.
Yeah, he was fire.
And they would only let Beanie Sigel only sell so many records. This came from an executive. But Benny, they would you couldn't be bigger than JayZ on JayZ's label.
For you, I have to always have your back. Why wipe me out? After everything I've done for you, you gonna sit there with a life raft and watch me drown? After everything I did for you?
Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. You know, because at first you retire, you know, then get me off the label. Now you're back rapping again.
JayZ called me. Hey, bro, JayZ, I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head.
Beanie Sigel has just called out JayZ, accusing him of sabotaging his career and those of other Rockefeller artists out of jealousy. According to reports, Jay is now allegedly trying to silence Sigel, which could be an attempt to avoid further bad press, especially with the ongoing lawsuit involving one of Diddy's accusers adding to the drama. In a recent viral interview, Beanie Sigel opened up about the alleged shady tactics JayZ employed during his time at Rockefeller. Beanie claimed that Jay wasn't just a boss but actively undermined certain artists he saw as competition. And Beanie isn't the only one speaking out. Others in the industry are coming forward with similar stories, claiming that JayZ's Hova persona is just a facade and that behind the scenes, he's plagued by insecurity. The situation escalates with rumors that Jay has been sending warnings to Beanie, trying to stop him from revealing more. But Beanie seems determined to share his truth, stating he's waited years to tell his side of the story. With everything now coming to light, this situation is only getting messier. Let's dive into the details.
That like, let me breathe. But to maliciously plot to hold me back.
Beanie Sigel has finally broken his silence in response to Dame Dash's explosive claims that JayZ sabotaged his career after the Rockefeller split. About a month ago, Dame appeared on The Art of Dialogue and didn't hold back, accusing Jay of tricking Beanie into being shelved, effectively derailing his career. According to Dame, Beanie was the future of Rockefeller, the one who could carry the label's legacy forward. However, Beanie's unwavering loyalty to Jay ended up being his downfall. He believed JayZ would support him no matter what, but things allegedly took a dark turn. Dame claimed that not only did JayZ leave Beanie out in the cold, but he also worked behind the scenes to ensure Beanie's career never fully recovered. Now that Beanie is addressing these allegations, it's clear the fallout from the Rockefeller days still looms large, and the truth behind these claims could reshape how fans see the legacy of one of hip-hop's most iconic labels.
Was getting ready. We thought he was going to go to jail for a couple of years. He was on trial. So I was trying to make 4 albums. I was more bothered when Beans chose to go with Jay. That one hurt. Because I'd done a lot and prepared. I chose State Property over Rockware. And I wanted to just roll out with State Property. But it almost like he tricked Beans to shelf him, and his life up to me for doing that. But I had him, you know what I mean? Like, that was my new Jay.
Dame actually came and got me when I got out of prison. And we was on a tour bus, and they was interviewing me. And they asked me then and there on a bus. Now I'm just getting out of prison. Like, he at the jail picked me up. And they posed that question that I was, you know, or made the statement that I was going to be with Dame Dash Music Group. And I said then that I didn't want to make that choice. I believe if we had those conversations, I believe I would have rolled with Dame. I'd have rocked with Dame. Yeah, if Dame set me down and he had a plan, regardless what the plan was, and mapped it out like this was going to do, the smartest decision at that time for me would have rolled with Dame. Because Dame was Dame was more accessible than Jay was. Dame was in the office every day. You could talk to Dame. You know what I mean? Dame used to come and chill on the block in South Philly. You know what I mean? Dame pull up and Biggs at Mom Duke spot. So, yeah, I think if we would have sat and he would have showed me and explained to me, you know, our business plan and what we was going to do, that would have been an easy decision.
Beanie Sigel has now addressed the situation himself, and it seems he's largely agreeing with Dame Dash's claims. In a candid response, Beanie admitted that he took Dame for granted during their time at Rockefeller. Reflecting on the past, Beanie acknowledged that Dame genuinely believed in him and saw him as the future of the label. However, his loyalty to JayZ clouded his judgment, and he didn't fully appreciate Dame's efforts at the time. Now, looking back, Beanie seems to recognize how things played out behind the scenes and how his unwavering trust in Jay may have contributed to the derailment of his career. This admission adds another layer to the ongoing conversation about the Rockefeller split and JayZ's alleged role in holding certain artists back. As more details come to light, it's becoming clear that the fallout from those days is far from over.
I think one man could destroy another man's life. It's ultimately in your own decisions. You know, I had a lot of issues. Like I said, legal issues at the time. And, you know, my mind wasn't where I'm at now today. Like, I used to have questions like why every time my album dropped, Jay would drop right on top. He wouldn't let me breathe or right before me. Like, I was always close. And I never understood that every single album that I dropped, Jay dropped right on top. It was like, damn, like to have in-house competition at that magnitude was crazy. Jay already the boss, but I always thought that, like, let me breathe. But
As for JayZ, Beanie Sigel didn't hold back, saying it definitely felt like moves were being made behind the scenes to keep him from reaching the next level in his career. He pointed to instances like Jay strategically dropping his own albums close to Beanie's releases, effectively overshadowing them and limiting Beanie's ability to sell beyond a certain number of records. While Beanie did take accountability for some of his own mistakes, including his legal troubles, he made it clear that Jay's actions weren't just coincidental, they were intentional. Beanie believes Jay was actively working to suppress his career and keep him from realizing his full potential, despite their history and supposed brotherhood. This revelation paints a troubling picture of their relationship and further fuels the ongoing debate about whether JayZ prioritized his own success at the expense of those around him. It's clear Beanie is no longer staying silent about the past, and the impact of these claims is bound to shake up how fans and the industry view Rockefeller's legacy.
I came up to the studio and I stayed in the studio every day. Like, I was driving back and forth from Philly, probably twice a week. I was bringing my bags, underclothes and all that stuff in the bag, in the truck, in the back of the Suburban. I stayed in the studio for like 3 weeks straight. You know what I mean? Almost a month. A month straight I was in the studio, and that's why I cover the Dynasty album so much, because I was there. Like, everything Jay was doing, I was right there beside him and I was writing.
For those who may not be familiar with Beanie Sigel's story, he was a pivotal figure during the height of Rockefeller Records' dominance in the late 90s and early 2000s. Beanie brought that raw, street energy to the label that it was missing at the time. JayZ, recognizing his potential, signed him in 1999, immediately catapulting Beanie into the spotlight. In 2000, Beanie dropped his debut album The Truth, which was a massive success and earned him respect in the rap game. His gritty, authentic style resonated with fans, and he quickly became one of the standout figures in Rockefeller's roster. But Beanie wasn't just another artist on the label. He was made to feel like family, or at least that's what JayZ led him to believe. The two developed a strong bond, with Beanie feeling that loyalty to Jay was mutual. Unfortunately, as time went on, that sense of camaraderie would unravel, leaving Beanie feeling betrayed. This was the foundation of their relationship, one where Beanie believed Jay had his back, but things ultimately took a much darker turn, leading to the fallout that is now being aired out.
Rockefeller Records was the only thing that I've ever been a part of that I thought was honest. Still. Like, niggas really with me for what it was. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm from South Philly, so, you know what I mean? Niggas smile, hey, you know what I mean? The train next to you, turn around, blow your head off. Like,
Just smile, take your hand, pray next to you, and burn.
yeah, bro, all that bitches. That's where I come from.
Yeah.
Kill you, wash your body. You know what I mean?
Pray.
Kill your son and fornicate with your daughter. Yeah, that's where I come from. That's the world that I lived in. So me being with Rockefeller, the La Familia, I held on to that. It's like I got something, and you know what I mean? And it's like, these got me. And I don't want from me, they just want me to do this. It's music. They got me. And that's all I asked, you got me. That's where I came from. I never looked at me having a career. I never looked at the business. It was La Familia, La Familia, La Familia.
Years later, Beanie Sigel admitted that when he first signed with Rockefeller in 1998 and quickly became one of their top artists, he truly believed JayZ was loyal, a ride-or-die type of person who would always have his back. Beanie trusted that JayZ would be there to support him no matter what, but with time, those expectations were shattered. As things unfolded, Beanie realized that his loyalty was not reciprocated in the way he had hoped.
Weapons violations, attempted murder. They try and get a boy 20 to 40 years. They came to me with a deal. Their deal was 18 to 36 years. Of course, I turned it down. Thought this was America, people. Guilty until proven innocent.
In the early 2000s, Beanie Sigel was at the forefront of Rockefeller's success. He wasn't just a rapper, he was instrumental in building the brand, even launching the State Property clothing line and the State Property movies. Beanie was deeply embedded in the Rockefeller empire, but by the mid-2000s, things began to shift. By 2004, the cracks at Rockefeller were starting to show. JayZ and Dame Dash were clashing over the label's future, and Beanie found himself caught in the middle. Loyal to both men, he tried to navigate the tension, but when JayZ took control of Rockefeller through his new deal with Def Jam, it quickly became clear that Beanie wasn't a priority anymore. This is where the feeling of betrayal became personal for Beanie. That same year, Beanie was hit with federal charges and faced serious prison time, which only added more strain to the situation. With his legal troubles mounting and the shift in Rockefeller's dynamics, Beanie began to realize that the loyalty he had shown was not being returned in kind. This was a turning point where the business and personal stakes collided in a big way.
So at that time, when, you know, I'm going to court, and we about to be on tour. We on tour. So
Whole other tour.
yeah, we on a whole nother tour. So, you know, I'm going for my bail hearing in the feds. And the judge asked Jay, you know, everybody's saying all these good things and all that. You know what I mean? The character witnesses, Dame, and, you know, everybody saying, and even Jay said a whole lot of good things about me, and the judge was going to let me go. Monitor. And she said, you know, would you be willing, and that's the part that people don't, would you be willing to be responsible for his whereabouts, not be responsible for my actions? This is whereabouts. Would you be willing to do that? Provide us with all the information, you know, saying that he's going to be here, there. And after all that get, he said no. But it was like the way he said it. And he put his head down and was like, no, I've never been pressed like that ever in my life. Cause I'm like, boom, this is my man, like and I looked at it like, all right, no. Damn, what if I had to? I'm in jail, I'm still tall. But what if I really needed to go? This was going in my mind. Like,
Get out of jail, you say?
Bro, I had attempted murder in the state and the federal gun charge and all this. So 40 years, it's over. This is I'm facing 40 years, right? What if and my mom thinking like, damn, what if I really need the room? You gonna run and go. Like, I'm from like, this is my man and I love you. If he's get that, I'm getting my man, I'm getting him out by any means necessary. So for me to look him in his eyes and I'm sitting, I'm shocked. Running with ankles and everything, and the thing was like, oh. Like that was that. I don't like that was that up. It took everything in me not to like let one go. Like that was like that took away a lot of shit I thought that we had.
Right.
When Beanie Sigel got locked up, he expected his Rockefeller family, especially JayZ, to support him through such a tough time. However, what he received instead was silence. Beanie later admitted in interviews that he felt completely abandoned by JayZ during his legal troubles. The man he once considered a brother, who he had helped build the Rockefeller brand with, didn't offer the support he had expected. For Beanie, this moment marked a significant turning point. The betrayal felt not just professional but deeply personal, as he had placed so much trust in JayZ's loyalty, only to be left out in the cold when he needed it most. It was in that moment that Beanie realized the dynamic between him and Jay had changed forever.
We drove up here at 5 in the morning, caught a flat. We caught a flat in Dame's van on the turnpike.
We gotta wait for the spare to come.
We're running a little late. And I gotta get suited up, booted up. And you know, he is our brother, so we will be there to support him. Visit the Rock, we are a family.
While Beanie Sigel was battling his legal troubles, JayZ was focused on his own career. He dropped the Black album, which he initially touted as his retirement album, only to reverse that decision shortly after. Meanwhile, by 2005, Rockefeller was no longer the powerhouse it once was. JayZ had taken over as president of Def Jam, while Dame Dash and Biggs Burke moved on to other ventures. Beanie, however, was stuck in limbo. In 2005, Beanie released his third album, The Beat's Coming, which was an incredible project, mostly recorded while he was still fighting his case. Despite its quality, the album didn't get the push it deserved. With JayZ now running Rockefeller, Beanie was no longer a priority, and it became evident that the label's focus had shifted. Beanie later hinted in interviews that he felt sidelined, and even revealed that Jay blocked him from pursuing other opportunities. According to Beanie, Jay kept him tied to Rockefeller, but refused to actually invest in his career. This added to the growing sense of betrayal, as Beanie felt Jay was actively preventing him from moving forward, even as he was left without the support he needed to succeed.
The question is, did Jay really call up them people? Just need to know to add them to the infested extermination list.
Listen, before I even got there to the building, you gotta understand this. It's all documented. This year's Powerhouse, Jay came last year. In the Philadelphia Daily News, the day after the Powerhouse, it had an article. And I didn't even go to the Powerhouse last year. It had an article in it. Inside sources say JayZ beefs up security and threat that a retaliation from Beanie Sigel for dropping him from the label.
This was in the newspaper.
It's in the paper. It's public record. Go, it's $20. You can search it and find it. It's public record. That was last year. So when I'm reading this, like, dang, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Inside sources say.
Right.
Where that come from? I ain't never see the Powerhouse where they got boot cops walking around with K9s. Go on the internet, Google it. Bernard Hopkins was there. I didn't even know Bernard was there.
Right.
Go to allhiphop.com. He confirms it.
So there you are, just like the song says.
Yeah, because what happened was, I stood right in the, and because they made sweeps. When it was When I came in the building and people was going in the back and all that, where the dressing rooms was at, we was standing in the back, me and my peoples or whatever. Bleak come out with 5 bodyguards. What's up, C? No, what's going on? Damn, what's up? What you doing? Who back there, Jay? Come on, let's go back there. And you keep on moving the conversation. You don't want to go back there. Your bodyguard's there, and I don't got no, you know what I mean, the pass. He was like, man, you need to come holler at the big hump. Man, dude, don't with me. I ain't going back there. And that's what I told him. Big homie, don't with me.
Fast forward to 2009, and things finally reached a boiling point when Beanie Sigel dropped his diss track, What You Talking About?, aimed directly at JayZ. In the song, Beanie didn't hold back. He called Jay out for being disloyal and selfish, accusing him of using Beanie for street credibility when it suited him, only to toss him aside when he no longer needed that association. The track was raw and emotional, as Beanie aired out everything that had been building up over the years. It was a clear message to JayZ, expressing the deep sense of betrayal and frustration Beanie had been carrying. The diss track marked a public breaking point in their relationship, one that had been deteriorating for years. At this stage, Beanie was no longer just holding on to his resentment quietly. He was making it known to the world, and there was no turning back.
The house in the house for house arrest, and I got the Young Guns calling my phone because JayZ's only paying them $1,205 $50 or whatever it is, $1,200 a show, and they had to split it at the end of the day, like shows where we went on his was supposed to be promos, but checks, man, that he was making, but it was just that's us paying dues. It was a good look.
But
all the glitz and glamours wasn't like really with.
Beanie Sigel's story isn't an isolated one. Over the years, many former Rockefeller artists and associates have come forward with similar feelings of betrayal by JayZ. We've heard similar claims from Dame Dash, DMX, Kanye West, and others, each telling their own version of how JayZ switched up on them when it suited his interests. For example, DMX revealed that JayZ sabotaged the release of his 6th album. According to X, Jay had initially planned to retire, but changed his mind when he decided to make a comeback. However, Jay was so insecure about his position in the game that he allegedly worked to eliminate competition before making his return, which meant undermining DMX's project. This added to the narrative of JayZ's alleged pattern of pushing aside artists when they no longer serve his vision, or when he felt threatened by their success. These stories, along with Beanie's, paint a picture of JayZ's rise to the top as one that may have come at the expense of others. It suggests that, behind the scenes, Jay may have acted out of fear or insecurity, working to protect his own position rather than uplifting those who helped him get there. Each artist has their own tale of how the dynamics of loyalty and betrayal played out in their dealings with Jay, and collectively, they contribute to the complex and often controversial legacy of
Beanie Sigel is complaining a lot these days.
Well, he has a lot to complain about.
I know.
Not me.
Well, actually, this morning I just got a brand new interview. It's half an hour long, and he's talking basically about you, about the company, about basically how you didn't push him as much as, let's say, 50 Cent pushed some of his boys. How do you feel about that?
Well, Beanie Sigel at the time, and you can look it up if you like, let's just be honest, was driving 2 Bentleys. I don't know how. It's impossible to drive 2 cars at one time. With his mama in the sticks and selling 800,000 records, I don't know what more can you do for somebody, at that point. What people choose to do when they attain that type of success, at some point you have to look in the mirror and look at yourself. Beanie Sigel had a record deal, a record label, and a clothing line. It never went platinum, ever. I don't know, in the history of rap, has anyone done so much with so little? So I don't even know what more can you do for a person at that point. A record label, a record deal, that's normal. A record label and a clothing line. So that's not pushing a person.
Over the years, There's been a story circulating about JayZ and Liar Cohen allegedly helping to sabotage Irv Gotti and Suge Knight's plan to create an all-black-owned music distribution company. Suge had a grand vision of bringing a group of artists together under one roof, and even wanted to unionize them. The plan was to have record labels cover the upfront costs for the artists' union dues, which would then be added to their recording budgets. Once the album started selling, the artists would pay the labels back in a way that worked similarly to advances. The ultimate goal was to provide artists with real benefits, including healthcare and retirement plans, something that would have been a major game changer for the music industry, where artists typically have little control over their futures. Suge and Irv wanted to shift the power dynamic and provide something artists rarely had access to: financial security beyond just album sales. In 2002, Suge Knight gave a powerful speech at the West Coast Hip Hop Summit, where he discussed how major record labels trap artists by retaining control of their master recordings. He pointed out that most artists don't have the power to buy back their masters, leaving them stuck in a never-ending cycle of dependency on the labels. Suge's plan could have potentially freed artists from this cycle and given them the power to build their own legacies, but according to the story, JayZ and Liar Cohen allegedly worked behind the scenes to prevent it from happening. If true, it would further fuel claims that JayZ has been protective of his own position and interests, even at the expense of potential progress for others in the industry.
Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. Because at first you retire, then get me off the label, now you're back rapping again.
While many moguls reportedly supported Suge Knight and Irv Gotti's plan for an all-black-owned music distribution company, there were two high-profile figures who allegedly didn't want to share the profits and worked to ruin the vision. You can probably guess who they are: JayZ and Diddy. According to the rumors, both JayZ and Diddy allegedly used their powerful connections, including ties to the feds and other influential figures, to sabotage the plan. The rumors suggest that they may have even tipped off authorities to prevent the project from succeeding. In Diddy's case, his rumored connections to the feds go back to his late father, Melvin Combs, who was reportedly involved with infamous Harlem kingpin Frank Lucas. As for JayZ, it's said that his ties to government agencies stem from his relationship with his mentor, Liar Cohen, and his close associate, Roc Nation President Desiree Perez, who has been rumored to have been a federal informant in the past. If these rumors are true, it would paint a picture of JayZ and Diddy actively working to protect their own interests, possibly at the expense of something that could have been transformative for the music industry. It also hints at the lengths these moguls may have gone to in order to maintain control over the industry's power structures, using their connections to prevent any major disruptions to the status quo.
It's how many people want to have a union? How many people want to get together and say, okay, we want to network? You got a deal at Universal and your points are too low. You got a deal at Universal and they got 100% of your publishing. You got a deal at Sony and you don't own your masters, but it's your artist. And I'm gonna tell you one other thing before you guys go. If you really want to know what's going on, it's real plain and simple. A lot of record companies tell you that at the end of the day, you have the right to buy your master.
The situation is largely built on rumors and claims. However, there are a few pieces of testimony that suggest their involvement. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gone Deal, has reportedly stated that there's a pile of paperwork at Bad Boy Records that allegedly shows Diddy played a significant role in assisting the feds. While Deal's claims are still unverified, this would be a critical piece of evidence if true. As for JayZ, another individual named Gene has claimed to have heard from multiple sources that Jay was also working with the feds. Again, these claims are based on what Gene has reportedly been told by others, but there is no direct, publicly available evidence to back up these allegations. The rumors have circulated for years, and while they have sparked a lot of speculation, they have not been definitively proven. Until any concrete evidence comes to light, these claims remain in the realm of speculation, fueled by insider accounts, but not confirmed by hard proof.
Jaguar kind of alluded to JayZ may be next. What is your thoughts when you hear they done took down Puff, they done took down all these other powerful black people? JayZ's like the lone.
Jay is them people.
you do the history of most of the people that got in trouble in the industry, big trouble, who they went to for help? When Lil Wayne was in trouble, who did he go to? When Meek Mills was in trouble, who did he go to? Meek Mills said it himself. Desiree helped me. So how could he be up next? You know what I'm saying? He is them people. I don't think they coming after him at all. I don't think they got, like I said, I think he is them. He has a relationship with them. You talking about a woman that had a relationship with the feds for 20-something years. So I don't.
The stories about JayZ's jealousy and insecurity aren't just rumors. They have some evidence to back them up, especially when it comes to his relationship with Kanye West. Despite Kanye and JayZ's long-standing bond, Kanye has spoken out about feeling betrayed by Jay after years of what seemed like a brotherhood. Kanye even hinted that JayZ could have someone sent after him, suggesting the level of tension between the two. This kind of statement shows just how deep the rift went. Despite this, Kanye didn't back down. He continued to call out both JayZ and Beyoncé, accusing them of being industry puppets who are more concerned with their power in the business than with helping others. Kanye's public criticism of Jay and Beyoncé revealed his frustration with the way he felt they manipulated the industry to secure their positions, especially at the expense of others like himself. The drama between Kanye and JayZ adds another layer to the narrative of JayZ being insecure and willing to sacrifice relationships in favor of his own success. Over the years, Kanye has not been afraid to speak his truth, even if it means confronting former allies like JayZ. His outspokenness and willingness to call out the power dynamics in the industry only reinforced the idea that JayZ's persona as a boss could sometimes be at odds with his actions behind the scenes.
Puff, Kirk Burrows, that's the other person that was with them. They go up to the feds with all this paperwork, you understand? And I mentioned this before, you understand? They not only talking about the extortion stuff, they talking about how they trying to be made to have this what you call this promotion, this distribution thing. Now other people coming out talking about it. They putting JayZ was a part of it. They telling their story, and it all is coincide what we said years ago, what we said on platforms before.
So JayZ, he told you?
That years ago, man. That years ago. What are you gonna do? They're gonna do whatever. Yo, listen to me. They're the reason why rap in New York went down the drain. They made sure that these young cats didn't come up with platforms and didn't come up with shit.
Then there's 50 Cent, who exposed that JayZ allegedly tried to stop him from performing at the 2022 Super Bowl halftime show by using his connections with the NFL. According to 50 Cent, JayZ leveraged his influence to keep him off the lineup, possibly due to personal animosity or business rivalry. However, things didn't go as JayZ had planned. Eminem, who was already part of the performance, had 50 Cent's back and told JayZ that he wouldn't perform unless 50 was included in the lineup. Eminem's support for 50 Cent in that situation was crucial. It's said that this forced JayZ to back down and ultimately allowed 50 Cent to join the Super Bowl halftime performance, much to JayZ's apparent frustration. This incident adds to the growing list of examples where JayZ's alleged insecurity or attempts to control situations backfired, with others stepping in to counter his influence when it didn't align with their interests.
Beyonce, but not you, man. But they can't control me. You see, it ain't no name I won't name.
50 Cent recently shared in an interview on Cameron's talk show with Flea that JayZ is still making what he calls shady moves, not just in music, but in business as well. According to 50, it's strange because JayZ has nothing left to prove. He's at the top of the industry, with immense wealth and influence, but he's allegedly still working behind the scenes to block anyone he sees as competition. 50's comments highlight the puzzling nature of JayZ's actions. Despite his success and the massive empire he's built, it seems that JayZ continues to act out of insecurity, trying to maintain control by stopping others from surpassing him. 50 Cent's words only reinforce the idea that JayZ's competitive drive is still at the core of his decision-making, even after achieving so much in his career. This sense of rivalry and the drive to stay on top, even when it seems unnecessary, suggests that JayZ may be deeply motivated by a need to protect his legacy and his position in the industry.
And was putting it together. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No.
Okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL had some issues with me. That you see what I'm saying? Like there's so much G Unit records.
Right.
They forget that I'm
Just when you thought JayZ couldn't get any bolder, he recently denied being close to Diddy. In fact, JayZ had his lawyer publicly claim that they were never friends, despite a ton of evidence showing otherwise. For years, JayZ and Diddy were seen as close collaborators and even had a friendly rivalry that played out in the media. From their business dealings to their shared history in the industry, there was always a public perception that they had a strong bond. However, JayZ's lawyer publicly downplayed their relationship, calling it more of a professional connection rather than a friendship. This public denial raised eyebrows, as it contradicted the numerous instances where JayZ and Diddy appeared to be close, whether through their shared moments on stage, in interviews, or even their involvement in each other's business ventures. The claim that they were never friends adds another layer to JayZ's image as someone who can distance himself from relationships when it no longer suits him, despite evidence to the contrary. It's another example of how JayZ maintains control over his narrative, even at the expense of his past alliances.
what old boy was doing, right, with the Super Bowl, because he was doing like go ahead. He was doing some wild shit, because he was saying that to Eminem that the NFL had the issue with me, and I'm like, well, what's the issue? Why don't I have an issue when I'm becoming a partner in the actual team, but they got an issue with my performance? Right, makes no sense. You know
So
what I mean?
I was going to get to that later, but since we're here now. And when he says "oh boy" for the audience that
Yeah,
knows,
it's Jay.
he's talking about JayZ. This was discussed before. JayZ told Dr. Dre, just for people who's not up on this, or Eminem, that he didn't want you to perform part of that Super Bowl they had a couple years ago. Why do you think that is?
Well, I just
threatened.
Yeah,
possibly.
Not even threatened. You know, I think it's just when you take the competition from, like, our culture is competitive, man. It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he wanted to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you still competing. It don't make sense. Like, what are we competing for? Help us to go. Like this even like a lot of the competitive stuff, or what we would call it beef, right? But it changed. That terminology changed when it's Biggie and Tupac, because we start saying the things that people say that cause beef in the environment.
Right.
When before that they caused bad. Right. Because that's what it is until it turns into some street. So when you're not competing for those things anymore, you start looking and you're going, so what was the problem? You can't exactly remember what the problem was. That's what went through with Joe.
It's clear that Beanie Sigel's story isn't an isolated case, and JayZ's history of leaving people behind seems to be a recurring theme in the industry. Given the experiences of Beanie and others, it's understandable why Beanie feels betrayed. He was an integral part of Rockefeller, helping build its legacy, yet he found himself abandoned at a time when he needed support the most. JayZ's actions, particularly when it comes to sidelining Beanie during his legal troubles and the lack of support for his career afterward, definitely seem to support Beanie's feelings of betrayal. From a broader perspective, the narrative of feeling betrayed is not uncommon in the music industry, where power dynamics, loyalty, and business interests often clash. In Beanie's case, his loyalty to JayZ and Rockefeller didn't seem to be reciprocated when he faced hardship. Given that Beanie helped establish the brand, it makes sense that he would feel that way. As for whether Beanie has a right to feel betrayed, it's hard to ignore the pattern of how JayZ has treated those who helped him rise to prominence. Beanie's frustrations are legitimate, especially when there's so much history of him being sidelined while JayZ pursued his own agenda. It's a complex situation, and it raises questions about loyalty, power, and the often harsh realities of the music business. What do you think? Does Beanie have a right to feel the way he does? Let me know your thoughts.
The recital that he has to be at the brewery. He reached out to me, and I told him that this right here was important. Bad Boy celebrating 20 years of hits. And this is the biggest family. You've been there with me through my ups and downs, and whenever I get in trouble, this is the one I call. This is my strategist right here. This is my brother. It's B.I.G's brother. Yes, sir.
I mean, Mr. Carter has nothing to do with Mr. Combs' case or Mr. Combs. They knew each other professionally.